Unit 3. Unit 3 means you're halfway through the semester and you're doing a great job. So what's the title of Unit 3? Seeking Wisdom. And our big idea here, does one have to be old to be wise? And then here's another question. Where exactly do you find wisdom? Everywhere. Which is why we're going to be literally reading just about everything. From African proverbs to some good old Confucius, short stories about random great social issues, Japanese haikus, classic Aesop's fables, and even some Benjamin Franklin. We're going to kind of be going all over the place in just about 2.5 weeks. So, there are 7 key concepts that we're going to be focusing on in this unit. Theme and pattern development, plot, text structure and organization, author's choice and POV, symbolism, imagery, and inferences. So let's talk about theme and pattern development first. A theme or pattern is any message, symbol, or concept that's repeated in a text. So a lot of times you have teachers say, well, what's the theme of this story? What's the theme of this article? All the theme is a pattern, and the development of it is how the author uses rhetoric, aka words, characters, plot, conflict to advance the theme. For example, in Les Miserables, one of the common themes in that story is redemption, forgiveness. You see Jean Valjean struggle to find forgiveness and redemption for the sins he feels that he has committed. How does the author use Jean Valjean to advance or develop the theme of redemption? As you keep reading the text, you get different themes or patterns that emerge through the story. That's literally theme and pattern development. Text structure and organization. Text structure is how a text is structured or organized. Literally how the author chooses to organize the words and the paragraphs so that it makes sense for us. It also allows us to better understand and analyze theme, point of view, and plot. Now, there are a lot of different text structures, and we're going to briefly go through them. The first one you have is sequence. Sequence is just to convey events or steps in a precise order. So sometimes a sequence article might be something like a timeline, or if I want to have you write how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you would want to write that in sequential order, first, second, third. The next type of text structure is description, which literally means just to describe. If I were to tell you to write a description of how to describing a red beach ball, you would try to write where you describe it. Those are the easy ones. Now, here are the remaining little more difficult ones. First, we got cause and effect. Not so hard because you've done it before. Cause and effects is where you write to explain and analyze the cause of something and the effect of something. So I might ask you to write about the causes of underage drinking. Or I might ask you to write about the effects of underage drinking. Your text is going to look quite different based on what you're doing, either the cause or the effect. The next type of text structure that we have is problem solution. That's where you describe the problem, you describe the solution, and you list the steps of how to get there. So, for example, if I was to ask you, how would you solve the problem of teens dropping out of high school? You would first write about the problem. You would then give me a solution, and then you'd list the steps of how to get there. Pretty easy. Last two. First we have compare and contrast. That's where you literally write to present the likenesses and differences of a concept, of an object, of 2 objects, 3 objects, etc. Compare and contrast. A lot of these you've always done, it's just that now we're going to be looking at text to see how the author is organizing the text. And then also, once you know how an author structures or organizes a text, you'll be able to better decipher and pull out clues to better critically read and analyze the text. The last type of text structure we have is argument and evidence. This is where pretty much you'll be living this unit, where you convince or persuade the reader to do or believe something based on evidence. So I might have you write an essay on why only old people can have wisdom. You would make the argument. Then you'd provide textual evidence to prove and support your argument, with the back of your mind knowing you're trying to convince or persuade me of something. Last three concepts. First we have symbolism. Symbolism is anything concrete, meaning something that you can do or perform with your five senses. Anything concrete. And when you think of concrete, literally think of a concrete cinder block. It's heavy. You can touch it. You can feel it. It has weight. So anything concrete that authors use to represent something abstract. The American flag is a symbol for peace, democracy, freedom. Peace sign is a symbol for love and unity. So anything concrete that represents something abstract. Abstract meaning something you cannot see. Imagery. Imagery is the author's use of rhetoric or word choice, where they use vivid words, phrases, and languages that will create something visual in your mind. Now, in this unit, we're going to be really paying attention to symbolism and imagery when we focus on our poetry, because we are going to be reading some love sonnets, because a lot of love sonnets can maybe also teach you wisdom too. So once again, we have symbolism, imagery, and then the last big one, inferences. An inference is, think of an inference like a mathematical formula. PK plus the author's words equals an inference. So PK is my prior knowledge. Everything that I knew or thought I knew before I even looked at the text. All my prior knowledge plus the author's words equals an inference. So it's also maybe known as reading between the lines. A lot of times authors will use words and rhetoric to help you make an inference, where literally you'll have to read between the lines to figure out the underlying meaning. Also, inferences help you draw conclusions and then create generalizations.